I grew up eating gingerbread biscuits for Christmas, as I think all Swedes do. And as a child, I loved the ones we made at home, the homemade ones, partly because I just loved making them. But then when I got into my teens, that joy of making gingerbread biscuits faded away, and instead, I just loved the store-bought ones, like these. I thought they were crispier and just tasted nicer in general. And there was one thing though that I knew for sure, and that was that I was not a big fan of my Grandma Dolly's homemade gingerbread biscuits with almonds. Seriously, if I could choose any other biscuit over these, I would. But still, my grandmother kept making them year after year, and my mother also kept making the same biscuits year after year, and I never understood. I was like, why do you keep making them when you can just eat the store-bought ones? And that was my attitude until one day, one Christmas, I had one of these, and I realized what I'd been missing out on all these years. Like, I don't know what it was, but something clicked. And I just loved them, and now I can't imagine Christmas without them. So here you go, the second Christmas recipe from me this year. My wonderful and most kind-hearted grandmother Dolly's recipe for gingerbread biscuits with almonds. You can find all the measurements and the recipe in a link below, or you can download it as a PDF. You need syrup, which I have in here. You need sugar, butter, you need flour. And then the flavors, spices. And then also some black carbonate soda and almonds, and they need to be skinned. When you skin almonds, you heat up some water, and when it's boiling, you add the almonds for a minute or two, not longer than that, because it will make them kind of weird. And then just add them to cold water, maybe 2 rounds of cold water, and then they are really, really easy to skin. Smells so nice. Just an absolutely wonderful smell. So Christmassy. is the cookie dough. I put it in the fridge overnight, and you do get a little flat at the bottom. What you can do to try not to make them too flat is to keep them in the fridge for maybe an hour, 2 hours, something, and then try to kind of roll them up a little bit again so that they get a little higher. But it doesn't really affect the flavor, it just looks a little nicer. And now the trick is to cut these into really, really thin slices. It can be a little hard, but the thinner, the better. And then they go in the oven at about 200 degrees Celsius and for about 7 or 8 minutes.
Christmas is just around the corner, coming up just around the bend. Holiday couldn't be here sooner. Holiday for family and friends. And we've got pine tree, pine cone, evergreen, mistletoe, candy cane, Santa Claus, a gingerbread woman and a gingerbread man in a gingerbread house and all. Christmas is just around the corner, coming up just around the bend. Christmas is just around the corner, coming up right down the line. Chestnuts roasting on the burner, everybody knows it's Christmas time.
I finished the gingerbread biscuits about 2 weeks ago, and we filled all the tins we have, all the Christmas tins we have, also even this tiny little one. But now there's only 2 left, but they're quite big. So this one is kind of half full, and then this one is full. So I think they will last until Christmas. I would say they were a success. I do feel they're not as flavorful as when my mum made them, but I think that might be because I didn't use any actual measurements. I just kind of did what I thought was kind of enough of all the spices. And also they're not as thin as the ones my mum usually makes. But I don't think it really matters. As long as they are not super thick, I think they are really delicious. And all in all, this
For family and friends, Christmas coming just around the bend.